So I hope you can see the theme emerging. How do we make sure that our most vulnerable community members have the basic skills, they have computers, they have internet, and then now we're talking about the broader ecosystem. How are we making sure that they have opportunities to get into the pipeline, get into industry, and get all those high-paying jobs that are plentiful here in the Bay Area? So to build on that, I'd like to invite Derick Lee, who's doing very innovative work at PilotCity. That's kind of cross-sector between education and industry partners. So Derick, please come share more.
I myself case. Hey, thanks for inviting me, James and Darren, for just welcoming me, and Seth for the introduction. I just want to start with this here. The work that we're doing with PilotCity is basically, came back home from college, and I realized that my city was transforming itself, and that city's San Leandro. And I realized that we were thinking about economic development in terms of attracting startups and talent, but I realized that we weren't actually talking about the people who are from the city or the community to be the ones that actually help transform it. So I realized that we weren't really tapping into the emotionally invested, connected individuals of that community to build a future of that city. So that's just kind of the base of what we found out. So there was no other place that I could find people who cared about their community besides the people from the schools. And I went to San Leandro High School, I went to Bancroft Middle School, to McKinley Elementary School, went to Cal Poly for architecture and came back. And I realized that there's 2,700 people at the high school. And that was as many butts in seats that you can engage with a VR tool, AR tool, and tools of the future to enable them to become the ones that are starting the companies, right? And right before post-secondary, we can start actually, influencing them, right? And training them towards where they should be going or what they can do, right? And any percentage of a community has absolute leaders, right, in that community. They just need to be kind of digged up a little bit, right? That's what we realized. This thing's on forever, it stays on, interesting. So these are faintly in there, about 32 interns and fellows that worked for 7 of our employers this last summer. And they all worked on projects that they continued on from classroom projects they worked on across 8 cities in Alameda County. Oakland, San Leandro, San Lorenzo, Fremont, Richmond, Mill Valley was in there actually too, and so forth. And so I want to talk about broadband and beyond. I just kind of meant the term. But what can we do beyond once we've actually fulfilled the prophecy of connecting all our individuals, right? And so I've really realized as I kind of pitch to the employer champions, what is the real purpose, right, of young people? It's because they don't know anything, right? And that they don't actually have parameters and boundaries and struggles that we've probably all been through at some level. And they can kind of think outside that box, or they're going to be like, hey, what box, And so that's kind of the point of what we could tap into, right? This is Xavier and Bernie with Skyline High School and Oakland Unified. They were in Flint Christensen's computer science class, just last spring and I think fall as well. And they had DJI drones, the largest manufacturer of drones in the world, to come into their classroom and bring drones to their classroom and, hey, create, and ask them to, hey, create an autonomous drone solution. So they developed the idea of a drone intelligence platform, autonomous drone solution using drone intelligence to monitor truant students in Skyline High School. And then built to actually identify, I don't think kids would like that. And that's one of the risks of their project. But the point is they're creating that system for them, right? So this is Flint at DJI in Palo Alto learning how to use drones. This is Flint's class in Skyline. That's a drone. And they got that experience. And then what they did was pilot with Skyline High School on this idea. And that's what they did for their entrepreneurial fellowship. So you guys probably, I'm probably a newbie putting this up, but 81% of all high school students in the US have smartphones. I think we're kind of getting to that point where we actually, like the majority, right, has connected devices at some level and have connection to the outer world. What can we do beyond now, right? So that's kind of why I put this up, is what is that X factor of when we are connected, what can our students do in a way that really propels them forward beyond the idea of, you know, the problems and struggles that we kind of see. And so what we realize is that there's, well, I think there's, this one. I want to go to this one first. Is that I realized, like, hey, like what is this kind of world, right? Were they forgotten or were they excluded? Was it a hybrid? I'm not really sure, right? I just keep asking that question. But the point is that if it was forgotten, maybe they just were realizing it now, you know, the whole world, and we're putting a Band-Aid on it. Is that what the answer is? I'm not sure. But if they're excluded, it's justice, right? And then it's equity. But the intersection of all that, I think, is opportunity, right? And what can we do with the people who are underserved, disadvantaged, don't have access, to take them as an opportunity to build towards the future? And so I think the whole idea of this digital inclusion continuum is that once we've realized and we've, you know, see opportunity, we're providing access, right? That's first level. It's like here's a computer, here's a smartphone, here's a drone, here's an AR tool, here's a 360 camera, here's a IoT kit, whatever. Here's the access, and then they have to adapt, right? They have to adapt somehow. They have to actually get digital literacy classes or get training and get the mobile bus out there, get all that stuff rolling. And then they have to apply it. Then they have to actually like use the tool, solve real problems in the world with it, right? And so this is, I think, our stance on what that may look like, right? And the question is, what is the opportunity, right? And opportunity is this thing that we've kind of believe in, which is partnering with technology companies and employers, and then partnering with employers that are semi-desperate for talent, I say, like manufacturing, like IT, transportation, and actually building that ecosystem and digitally transforming, right? I'm going to pick it up a little bit. And so these are what we find is the actual points of transformation in these industries, is analytics, cloud computing, mobility, and so forth, social media. And so we go into classrooms and we partner and build incubators within that. We work with companies to have their companies as incubators of those talent, of those tools, of those technologies to transform them. And then we start working with cities, right, as economic development kind of function, to start transforming our internal industries and departments within those schools as well, or within those cities and city government departments. And so one thing I mentioned is, you know, the young citizen is going about their life, whether it's school, whether it's work, whether it's city, whether it's Earth, whether they go to Mars later, and with the LMS, space, whatever. And they're building their future around them as they grow in their ecosystem, right? And so what is the function? It's workforce development for the educators, it's business development for the industry, it's economic development for the governments. So these are the cross-sector tools and functions of why we should do this, right? And so, you know, beyond the digital inclusion kind of world, once we get to that point, we have outcomes, right? We have results. So they become innovators, become entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs are innovators within organizations, working within companies to be an entrepreneur. So we can build this kind of system here. And so what we're finding is that there's a disconnect between industry and education. And we need to start kind of creating this kind of intersection of connectiveness and responsiveness to the transforming markets. And we're leveraging project-based learning, okay, which is a new thing kind of rolling in, as a work-based learning function. And we're using that as a tool to scale the opportunities in the classroom, going right into classrooms with employers and creating an engine there. And so we partner with companies, we partner with the career technical education teachers in high schools, computer science classrooms, engineering classrooms, digital media classrooms, and we match make them. Alameda County Office of Education, in partnership, have developed, in partnership with our employers, have designed these different areas of curriculum. So we are focused on additive manufacturing, 3D printing and so forth, subtractive manufacturing, robotics, IoT, VR, AR, and so forth. And so these two areas is kind of what we focus on, is teachers and externships, where they get professional development on the tools, and then challenges by the students for them to solve it. And they go through this sequence and continuum of transformation. This is an example of a DJI drones kind of Project Challenge, prototype an autonomous drone solution that solves the challenge of one of your city's municipal government departments. And Flint goes into the DJI and gets this kind of boot camp in PD on drones. And that's him again. And we designed this one-page project challenge with the employer and go into classrooms for students to engage. I just want to be sensitive to time. How much time do I have? I know it's probably done now. Oh, okay, cool. I'm not going to finish that. So we actually have the employers go in on 3 occasions to the classroom to actually engage the students to be a mentor. Hack day, review day, demo day, and in between, they work on the project with the teacher as the instructor. And this is Hack Day. Some examples. Sony is part of our program, Seed is part of our program, and so forth, through some of the experiences. This is our review day with Seed, and some of our demo days or final presentation days. And the whole point here is that we're creating a talent pool, right? These engines within our schools with employers, creating employer-driven project-based learning systems. That becomes an engine for innovation within classrooms that becomes a talent pool for the employers to hire from. And so they submit the students submit their projects and apply for the internship and fellowship. They get quantified and qualified for their skills and how well they perform during the project. And that leads into positions for internships, entry-level jobs, and entrepreneurial fellowships with those employers to further develop the idea that they did in the classroom. And so we're creating this, this kind of next sequence, right? Digital transformation continuum of innovators, entrepreneurs, and entrepreneurs is really the goal. And this is Katrina with her telepresence robot at San Leandro High School during the summer school, piloting with the teacher there to have students learn math and geometry and algebra using telepresence technology remotely. This is Sithika with Fremont Unified doing microfluidic bioprinting thing. I don't even know, I'm a millennial. But the point is, he did this kind of these experiments for SE3D power printers. And then we had Housen and Caleb Fremont as well doing, creating a autonomous drone solution that does photogrammetry, 3D scanning of potholes, cracks in roads to then offer that as an automated solution for public works departments for City of Fremont and piloted with Public Works as the sponsor. And then this is the end here, right? So no fear. So where can digital inclusion become a digital transformation tool is how we're kind of connecting these dots. And how does that create a connected citizen, right? How do we start building that connected person in that world? And creating an engine for innovation for our small to medium-sized cities, because we kind of need it more. That's it. So thank you a lot. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Derick. Beautiful work outlining what that continuum looks like, and it helps to have that